you. Hello, Internet viewers. I'm the fairly OddGamer. Arcade games. They're everywhere nowadays. Anywhere you go, you find an arcade machine. Restaurants, bowling alleys, movie theaters, and even your local mall. Yes, arcade games have come and gone, and I've had my share of arcade games in the past. However, there was one arcade game that intrigued me the most. An underestimated arcade game simply called Smashing Drive. Smashing Drive was an arcade game released in 2000 by Galco, which also made Radical Bikers, Radical being spelled with a K. I actually remember playing this game at a local movie theater before actually watching the movie. Sometimes I even go to the theater just to play this game. It was that awesome. I love the cutscenes with the passengers entering and exiting the taxi whether or not you beat the level, and I love getting to crash into stuff. Playing this game was always an amazing experience. And with the arcade game being successful, you expect to have the game being ported to home consoles. Now, I hear that the console version is somewhat inferior to its original arcade version, but whether it's good or not, I still have a soft spot for it. That's why I'll be looking at Smashing Drive for the Nintendo GameCube. How does it fare to the original? Well, buckle your seatbelts and get ready because we're going to have the ride of our lives. Let's take a look. The console version was published by Namco, which is widely known for games like Pac-Man and Galaga. Also, it was converted from the arcade game by Point of View, the company responsible for Ready to Rumble Boxing, NFL Blitz, and even the remake/sequel of the 1983 arcade game Spy Hunter. So what could possibly go wrong? I do like this opening cutscene. We get a glimpse of New York, and we see a taxi on the edge of the Chrysler building, and then we get a tutorial with no help whatsoever. At least the arcade showed you how to play the game with the controls on the bottom. If the arcade game got it right, then why couldn't this? Anyway, you get a choice between arcade mode and survival mode. After choosing your mode, you then choose one of 4 shifts: Early Bird, Rush Hour, Night Owl, and Dusk and Wired. Each shift has 3 levels, except for Dusk and Wired, but we'll get to that later. So let's start with Early Bird. Wait, what happened to the cutscene? The one where we see the cameraman getting into the cab. Well, guess what? None of the cutscenes with the passengers are in the console port. I think they were initially going to keep the cutscenes, but they were taken out due to time constraints. But then again, that's just me. Anyway, you drive a taxi as you make your way to your destination before another taxi controlled by a computer. You use the control stick to move, A to accelerate, B to brake, and the R trigger to use the horn that pushes cars out of your way. You can also get power-ups while driving. Sonic blasts out 2 horns that obliterate any obstacle directly ahead of you. Turbo ignites rockets at the back of the taxi that give you a brief power boost. Glider gives you more height for your jumps and can increase your taxi's maneuverability. 4x4 or Bigfoot transforms your taxi into a monster truck, which allows you to drive over any ongoing traffic.
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday!
Crash forms a plow, allowing the taxi to smash your way through oncoming traffic with little to no damage. Cutter gives the taxi power saws that can cut through any long objects such as trailer trucks and trains. Other power-ups include Repair, which fixes up any damage to the cab, Time gives you extra time, and these question mark icons contain mystery powers that can help or hinder you. You can also gain more time by driving through these time-extended checkpoints. Oh yeah, did I mention, each level in this game has a time limit. If you run out of time, you get a 10-second continue screen. Thankfully, you have infinite continues in this game, so it's all good. Anyway, before I move on, let's talk about the music. It's not very good. I don't mind rock or pop music, but what makes them unbearable to listen to is the singing. Most of the time, I can't even understand what the guy's singing about. Take Early Bird for example. Listen to the very first lyric of it, and you'll see what I mean. What? Making fries? Make it fast? Make it right? I would play a clip from Weird Al Yankovic's Smells Like Nirvana, but I don't want to get copyright for it. Also, there are times where you can't hear the music at all. Probably just another technical glitch. At least the other 2 songs are somewhat understandable, but just not enough, unfortunately. Now for each shift, I'll briefly talk about each destination route, including some shortcuts. And first stop in the Early Bird shift?
To Brooklyn.
I love driving through the JFK International Airport, as well as driving by Coney Island. Next up,
Wall Street.
you drive up the top railings of the Brooklyn Bridge and can even take a shortcut to Pier 17 via passenger ferry, as well as crashing through a mall. Last stop on the shift, you can use a cutter power to slice through pipes and even drive through a burning building via fire truck ladder. When you complete a level, you'll be judged on 3 criteria: how many shortcuts you take or risky routes, how many power-ups or boosts you obtain, and the taxi condition at the end of the route. If you manage to reach a high enough score, you'll then drive through a bonus route. It's pretty much the third destination again, only the color-changing backdrop can strain your eyes. Up next we have the rush hour shift, and first up,
The Brooklyn Navy Yard.
you drive through the construction yards with a wrecking ball, as well as a cargo ferry, and even through Chinatown. Next up,
To the Music City Hall.
we all know it's the Radio City Music Hall, but was it ever called that? Anyway, you jump up a ramp and use the car power to slice through a train crossing a bridge, drive in a sewer, and even drive through the Rockefeller Center. Wait a minute, is that a Christmas tree? I didn't know it took place around Christmas. And last up,
To Central Park.
you can either drive on top of the building or drive through it. Either way, it's still amazing. You can also drive through a church and even the American Museum of Natural History, where you can drive on a T-Rex skeleton. Now that is awesome. Moving on to the next shift, Night Owl. And first up,
To the sea and down.
nothing much about it except you can smash snowmen for extra power-ups. Next up, after jumping over an airship carrier, you can take a shortcut through a bus terminal and even crash a Knicks game at Madison Square Garden. And last up on the shift,
To Times Square.
you drive around Central Park, bash King Kong off the Empire State Building, resulting in going down an elevator shaft, and literally crash through a movie theater. Unfortunately, you won't see the cutscene where King Kong squashes the gangsters. This leads to the final shift of the game, Dusk and Wired. Unlike the other shifts, there's only one stop, and that is...
To the Statue of Liberty.
You drive to another building on fire with fire trucks trying to put the fire out, jump off rooftops, and even crash the mall again. By the way, the taxi can use its monster truck tires as flotation devices to cross the Hudson River in order to get to the Statue of Liberty. As someone who has seen the Statue of Liberty, let alone be in the Statue of Liberty, it actually looks pretty good. Dude, you actually went to the Statue of Liberty? Why yes, Hux. Yes, I did.
That's awesome, dude! By the way, what game are you playing?
Oh, I'm playing Smash and Drive.
The Crazy Taxi knockoff arcade game?
You've played it before?
Long time ago. Fun fact, did you know that New York is one of the top 10 best surfing cities in the world?
Really? I never knew that.
Yeah, I'd love to go back and surf again.
I understand, Hux.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to see what's up. Later, dude!
Graphically, it looks more like a PS1 or N64 game rather than a GameCube game. Even though it's technically a port of the arcade game, it doesn't do justice for a modern console like the GameCube. However, I do like this game tradition of New York. It manages to take some of its well-known landmarks and have them represented perfectly in this game. So yeah, the graphics are hit and miss, but hey, what can you do? Oh, and survival mode is pretty much the same thing. However, you have to avoid damaging your taxi to a point where it becomes undrivable. So how does the console version fare to its arcade counterpart? I think it's okay. Even with the lack of cutscenes with the passengers, I still have a soft spot for it. However, the beta version of the port does have the cutscenes. Even though it has some technical glitches, it would have been nice to have those cutscenes in the final version. Even though it looks underwhelming for a GameCube game, it does emulate the style of the original arcade game. I personally don't like the music in this game, mainly because of the lyrics being unclear. However, I do like the gameplay in this port. I always think of the control stick as a mini steering wheel with my thumb, and it always brings back to the moment when I first played Smash and Drive at that movie theater. Overall, I think the console version of Smash and Drive is a good driving game, but I would definitely recommend the arcade version if you manage to find one lying around. And trust me, if I ever do see Smash and Drive at an arcade somewhere, I'd be more than happy to play it. I grew up playing this game, and some of you may have as well. But there are other games like this, so we'll just have to wait and see. I'm the Fairly Odd Gamer, and I wish you all good luck for the rest of your day or night, wherever you are. Take care, everyone.
How's it going, dudes? Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon if you want to get notified for upcoming videos.
Also, be sure to check me out on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And now, here's one of my buddies to finish out the video.
Hi everybody, I'm so glad to see you. I hope you had a stupendous time watching the review, but I know how to make it even more super-de-duper. By supporting the Fairly Odd Gamer on Patreon. As a supporter, you can chat with some of my other special friends, and even watch bonus content never before seen on this channel, and that's terrific! And now, it is my great honor to personally thank this month's supporters, Alexander Bone, aka Wisdom Tote, Jake Tixie, Cindy Bradley, and Sonicify. Thank you one and all for being my special friends. And remember, I love you.
Your car's your enemy, driving through the speed of sound. Come and take me through the streets and smash this town. Your car's your enemy, step aboard the yellow sun. Take me through the crowded streets and smash this town. We and the city alone, fighting together. Giant towers of stone, witness forever.